Hey guys, it's Del here, and welcome back to the channel. Join me today as we take a look at the Daban 6659 Astray Destiny Gundam model kit, a bootleg of the Gundam Base Korea 20th anniversary Gundam Astray kit. So getting into the build of the Daban Astray kit, it's basically a carbon copy of Bandai's kit, with the exception of the plastic quality being lower and there being issues along the way with some fitting. To get started with that, on the head, I needed glued the sides of the head and the V-fin. Down on the chest, for the opening hatch gimmick, I had to glue the white armor to the mechanism that moves. On the shoulders, the big large blue armor on top will just fly off with the slightest touch, so glued those on as well. On the arms, on the upper arm, there's two parts that go on the front and back. I had to glue those on, and then the piece of white armor that sits on top of those. But surprisingly, the legs and feet went together pretty easily. And it's not exclusive to this kit. As I watched reviews on the official kit, that kit has weak ankle as well, so I recommend tightening up the ankles while you're building it. And like I mentioned before, there's a lot of flashing, and what I mean by that is a lot of times, like the pegs that you plug in will need to be cut down a little bit because there's these extra just shards of plastic going there, and things won't go together as well. You might need to drill out the hole just a little bit. I didn't have to do that but once, and that was for the pegs for the arms. Another thing I realized were the very shallow panel lines. If you're using flow type panel liner, it might be really hard for it to flow through. It might just settle on top of it, these are very shallow. Way more shallow than the official kit. You can tell by just looking at a picture of the official kit. But I do mean, all in all, considering the price of this kit versus the authentic, it's really up to you if you're willing to deal with the not as fun build experience and the little bit extra knowledge needed to put something like this together and be happy with it in the end. And as far as nub cleanup and undergatting goes, for the mobile suit itself, it's not that bad. Most of it's hidden and not a lot can be seen. But even in the original kit that it's based off of, the backpack is from an older kit, and so that leads to, like, on the white parts of the wings especially, those aren't undergated at all, and the nubs end up being right there on the front side of it, which will need to be sanded down to prevent those from being seen. And the hands are pretty rough. I mean, this has the style of hands that are 3 fingers that are attached at a ball joint. And you have the individual moving index fingers and thumbs. While on, like, for instance, I have the Master Grade Mark 2.0 that has these hands, and they're not that great. And when you bring it to a kit of lesser quality, such as Daban, whatever their name is, it's even worse. The right hand turned out okay, but pretty loose. But on the left hand, the little parts that those ball joints are supposed to slide down into just broke immediately. Just broke. So those fingers are just really loose, just flopping in there. Really can't do any kind of pose with them. I'm just gonna have to shove the weapon in there, curl them around there, and just, that's it. That's all I can do. And after you finish, you'll realize you have a bunch of leftover parts from the runners, and that is because the original kit of this is built of mini Astrays, the blue frame, red frame, and so you could make some kind of cool custom doing that. It also comes with 2 things of gold for the swords. So you got a nice gold plated, which I use, and then you have the regular gold injected. And now that is one difference between this kit and the Bandai's. Bandai's only has the injected gold, while this kit you do get gold plated. So it does look better, but you can see the nubs. But you can't tell from afar that they're there. And doing something a little bit different on this video, recently I shared that I purchased a thing to help put water slides on. I'm gonna go over that a little bit in this video. I'll drop a link for it down in the description if you're interested. Basically, you have this little white tub with a lever, not really a lever, but it's a mechanism where you have this little sponge in there. You put water down the bottom of it and you dip the platform down into the water, which absorbs into the sponge. You pull it back up. You cut out your water slide decal. You can use a X-Acto knife. I like to use these curved scissors. And you place it on the sponge, it absorbs into it, and then you can take the decal off, and the way I like to do it is get it off the paper a little bit, then grab it with some tweezers. I mean, you don't have to, but I like to. Moving on over to the size comparisons, the Daban Astray comes in at a height of roughly 7 inches or 18 centimeters, a little bit more with the backpack and stuff on. For this purpose, I have him standing on the base because this kit will not stand with the backpack on. So here he is next to the Intrograde RX-78, Master Grade Blitz Gundam, Master Grade Ale Striker Gundam, and Master Grade Freedom 2.0 without the wings because it also will not stand, but without the base. So going over the accessories, which we don't have a lot to talk about as this kit doesn't come with a whole lot. For starters, you have these little daggers, which are just all one piece, and so is a little sheath for them that can pop where the swords go in the legs. But I mean, if you want to use these, sure, but I mean, swords are right there. Speaking of swords, you get 2 of them. Your Jabura Straight, or Tiger Pierce, whatever you want to call them. I opted to use the gold-plated plastic that comes with this kit, which is different from the Bandai one. The Bandai only comes with the injected gold. And it does feature a clear red blade, which I will say mine are a little bit warped. That's just how they came out of the box. Not terribly noticeable from far away, so it should look all right up on your shelf. And we got the backpack here, which is kind of a Destiny. I think it comes from the Impulse Blanche, if I'm not mistaken. These white parts here then like to come up. So you can move these guns up and over, like that over the shoulder. They can also come out. Hey, got my hand. Get the handle we can pull out there.
What the fuck is that?
Sorry about. I got some blue tack in this one to hold it in there well. This one just loose in there. Not like loose where it'll fall out all the time, just not as tight as the other one. But yeah, these are basically just 2 pieces of plastic pushed together. Put those out. Down, you can move these little thruster parts here. Get this part on top of here that can move kind of like a little bird head. These parts right here can move for the wing. Can swivel there. We can open those wings up. This right here, and that does have the striker slot, so this kit is compatible with other striker packs if you so wanted to do that, or throw this on another kit for much cheaper than, you know, the official one. That's kind of like its main gimmick if you haven't found out already. And you get a copy of Bandai's Action Base. This is everyone has at least one of these. Got the adjustable part here where you twist it, you extend it, except, you know, just like the rest of the Daban, this base is made of a lesser quality plastic, so it can be a little fiddly, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and the base attachment point is up here underneath his waist, which I made a post about. I don't like it, especially when it has a big backpack like this has. You got the Wings of Light, and I bet you're wondering, why is there blue tack there? Because on this end, this little clear part exploded into 2 pieces. Found one of them, searched all over the floor for the other part of it. You know how it goes with carpeted floor, one piece falls in, it's the abysses at that point. But which, I mean, these are alright, these are kind of cheap looking when compared to Bandai's official ones. I mean, they're okay, they get the job done, but personally I'm not a fan of these Wings of Light in particular. And there are some full stickers, mainly for the eyes, head cameras, and I didn't use the ones for the guns or for the little bird head on the backpack. And it did come with water slides, but I used them all. So you have the 2 up here on the shoulder. Man, you want to focus today? They're on the chest, here on the leg. I mean, these do make it pop pretty well. Back here with the backpack, you have the GBK20, this one on this side, reverse on the back. I just followed the guide. That's included because the manual is basically just a copy of Bandai's. Like, let me pull it over here. So, like, of course, the front is going to be different. But you look at the back here, there's your marking locations, and it is basically just a carbon copy of a Bandai manual. Oh, and You do only get the one set of hands. So, you know, you just kind of got to deal with these. They're not that great. You can see this one right here. They're just, oh yeah. Yeah, no. They're not great. They're not great. So moving on to his articulation. You got a ball joint at the head. Not much of an ab crunch at all. It's all pretty solid. You can get a nice swivel at the waist though. We got almost 200. Okay, so you do get 360 degrees of spin, but you need to be careful as this little part on the shoulder likes to catch anything that it gets on. So you can move those up so you can get the arm out. You can rotate it here. We got a double jointed elbow and just a ball joint at the wrist. Look at those loose fingers. So you can pose the fingers, but just they aren't great. You can move the front skirts here, but they really just like to pop off all the time. So I just like to just leave them on there. Side skirt can move up. This whole back flap can move up and down. You can move that up. We can get that leg out a pretty good distance. You bend that for your armor separation gimmick there on the knee. Got a little bit of swivel to it. See here, we can get back that far. Go up. Okay. Down here on these ankles are so weak. You can want to fall back all the time because you got movement here and movement here at the foot. Not much in the toe. There's no distinct toe bend, but you can move the foot up, and you have these little. Let me just take the foot off and show you guys this. They got a little tool I can help me out with. There we go. Got a little knife at the foot. And the back parts here can. Alright.
Bruh.
And these can slide out. Just don't pop them out all the way. You can move those out. But yeah, like, the ankles are just really weak, which, I mean, I guess isn't terrible because it does come with the action base. So, I mean, really, you want this up on the action base with that backpack on there anyway. But still, just, it makes it hard even wanting to stand up on its own. Oh, there he goes. There we go. Alright guys, so we're winding down here at the end of the review. And what I recommend you picking up this kit. I mean, if you really gotta have the Gundam-based Korea 20th anniversary Astray, I mean, sure, I'm not gonna pay what the scalpers are currently charging for that kit. $200, $400 for a master grade's ridiculous. But on the same side, I mean, I would always recommend you getting the actual Bandai kit if you have the means and the want. But that being said, for a $50 kit that looks the part for the most part, the color's a little different because the plastic quality is, you know, so-so. We got the really weak joints on there on the ankle. The hands are not great. The panel lines are very shallow. The need of glue for parts to stay on. I mean, this is definitely not as bad as the Destiny Metal build. That was like my first video, which has not held up at all, by the way. It's back in its box. It just falls apart. This one seems to be doing okay for now. So yeah, in the end, if you want it, if you got the a little bit of experience needed to put up with normal Daban issues, go for it. I mean, it looks great. It's not going to feel like a Bandai kit. This is obviously a lesser quality kit overall. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. And until next time, guys, you take care.